Art History Online presents The Monna Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. The Monna Lisa is said to be the most visited, the most referred to, the most parodied and most iconic painting of all time. It's seen as the world's most famous work of art. Before we address the Monna Lisa's celebrity status, we'll discuss some facts, its visual qualities and the most common interpretations. Da Vinci neither signed nor dated the painting, but he presumably worked on the high Renaissance masterpiece from 1503 until 1506, maybe even up until 1519, as dated by its curator Musée du Louvre. The Monna Lisa is property of the French Republic. After Leonardo's death, King François I acquired the Monna Lisa. The painting remained at Palace Fontainebleau until Louis XIV brought it to the Palace of Versailles. In 1797, during the French Revolution, it was moved to its present home, the Musée du Louvre in Paris. Though for a while, Monna Lisa has had the honor to gaze upon a sleeping Napoleon. Temporarily she was hung in Napoleon's bedroom in Palais des Tuileries. The painting may have a big reputation and be visited by large crowds daily. We can't say the same about its size. The oil-on-panel painting only measures 77 by 53 centimeters. The panel is made of poplar wood. To preserve the painting in the best possible condition, it is displayed in a bulletproof glass case with strict climate control. The Louvre titles the painting Portrait of Lisa Gherardini, but it's commonly known as the Monna Lisa. The title is derived from Giorgio Vasari's biography of Leonardo. According to Vasari, Da Vinci agreed to paint the portrait of Lisa Gherardini, the wife of Florentine silk merchant Francesco del Giocondo. Some say the title should be Monna Lisa instead of Mona Lisa, as an abbreviation of Madonna Lisa, Italian for My Lady Lisa. In Italy, the painting is known as La Gioconda, after the name of the presumed model. In France, it's called La Joconde, a presumed pun on the model's name and the word Joconde, in English Joconde, meaning happy or amused. Let's take a look at the painting itself. It depicts the portrait of a female figure, seated in a wooden chair, in an open gallery, a loggia, against the landscape. Only two small fragments constitute the perception of the loggia. We're just getting a hint of a stone wall and pillars. The landscape in the background consists of red land and mountains, grey cliffs, water and forest. We can distinguish a meandering road and a bridge. The woman is wearing a draped robe and a delicate, transparent veil. She rests her right hand on her left arm, which she posed on the armrest of the wooden chair she's seated in. She appears in a three-quarter pose, slightly turned to her right, but she directs her face and chest towards the viewer. She even seems to be looking directly at the viewer, or at least outside the painting, giving her a daring, enigmatic character and connecting us with her solidified 16th century world. The use of the three-quarter pose and the cropping of the portrait at waist height was controversial in Leonardo's time. In the Monna Lisa, the eye of the viewer is above all drawn to the female figure. Contemporary portraits were more stiffly posed profiles in full length, with a more distant character and full of self-promotional or political references. On the picture plane, the main lines follow the outline of the female figure, creating a triangular composition. In the female figure, a strong vertical line is suggested. The planes in the background indicate several horizontal lines. We can see horizontals in the top of the trees, in the water level and horizon, in the mainland and mountains, the loggia and the chair. These lines create a sense of balance and harmony, even though the vertical line is slightly positioned to the left of the center. The varying distances between the horizontal lines give the painting a more exciting character. The horizontals also subtly accentuate the subject's eyes, her shoulders, the bent right arm and the lower left arm. There are several aspects that create a sense of space and depth, the use of aerial perspective, diagonal lines, and lighting and shading. The sense of space is not created by a clear vanishing point, but by using aerial or atmospheric perspective. Looking at the background, we can see that as the distance to the main subject increases, the amount of detail and contrast decreases. Several diagonal lines contribute to the perception of depth and distance. For example, in the figure's arms, in her shoulders. The same goes for the meandering road and the waterside. Though the landscape adds to the sense of depth, it is imbalanced and surreal. We can see mountains on the right suddenly transformed into low-lying plains on the left side. The use of lighting and shading also gives the female figure a physical appearance. Likewise, it suggests movement and texture in the landscape and clothing. The painting displays Da Vinci's excellent use of sfumato. The term derives from the Italian word for smoke, fumo. Because of the use of this technique, we can't see any sharp contours. The colors are blended in such a manner there are no perceptible lines or borders. The colors fade into one another, like smoke. Especially in Monna Lisa's face, the tonal gradations are outstanding, resulting in soft and subtle facial features. One of the most discussed characteristics of the Monna Lisa is her mysterious smile. In fact, the main question asked is whether Monna Lisa is smiling or not. British researchers attribute the apparent smile to Da Vinci's use of sfumato and her peripheral vision. They claim it is a deliberate technique. Da Vinci painted the Monna Lisa in such a way that her smile appears more pronounced when viewed from an angle, and less when looked at directly. Looking at the painting altogether, we can perceive a subtle smile. The corners of her lips are slightly turning up. When we only focus at the mouth, the smile is less apparent. We can state that the shadowing around the eyes is defining for the viewer's perception of a smile. In our peripheral gaze, we can detect a smile, but when we look at it directly, the smile disappears. As the smile disappears as soon as the viewer tries to catch it, we have named this visual illusion the uncatchable smile. Another much discussed feature of the Monna Lisa are her eyebrows and eyelashes, or in fact the lack of it. Some researchers claim that the absence of eyebrows corresponds to contemporary fashion. It is said that it was common for women to remove these hairs. However, in 2007, scans have proven that Monna Lisa was originally painted with eyebrows and eyelashes. It is thought that these facial features have faded or were accidentally removed due to cleaning. We have discussed some of the painting's visual qualities. What makes the Monna Lisa so special is its enigmatic, serene character. The balanced composition, the figure's pose, her gaze and smile, the use of sfumato, the understated draping in the clothing, it all contributes to the mystery and serenity of the painting. It is commonly agreed upon that the painting depicts Lisa Gherardini, though there exist many theories about the identity of the female figure. Since the Monna Lisa has a secular subject, 19th century poets were able to fantasize about Monna Lisa as a femme fatale. She was the subject of endless male fantasies. Over the centuries, the female figure has been described as a virtuous woman and a faithful wife, as a harlot and a sickly person. In addition, at least 10 different identities have been ascribed to the sitter. Some even proclaimed it was a self-portrait of Da Vinci in drag. Most of these ideas might not be taken seriously. They have encouraged the painting's mystery and fame. The 21st of August, 1911, the Monna Lisa was stolen from the Louvre, only to be noticed missing the next day by a visitor. A painting of the painting, on the left, depicts Monna Lisa as displayed in the Louvre. On the right, you can see a photograph of the same wall, taken after the painting's theft. Both poet Guillaume Apollinaire and painting Pablo Picasso were brought in for questioning, but were released. For 2 years, the Louvre kept Monna Lisa's spot vacant, up until the thief and the Monna Lisa were found. The portrait was stolen by a Louvre employee, the Italian Vincenzo Peruggia. It is said that he thought Italy was entitled to the masterpiece, because of its Italian maker. Eventually, the thief was caught trying to sell the painting to the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. After being on display in the Uffizi for 2 weeks, it finally returned to the Louvre on the 4th of January 1914. After its theft, the Monna Lisa gained fame. Before, it wasn't commonly known outside the art world. In 1956, the Monna Lisa's fame increased even more, when a vandal damaged the painting by throwing acid at it. The same year, someone else threw a rock at it. the bulletproof glass case saved the painting from damage by further vandalism. In 1974, the Monna Lisa was the intended target of red spray paint, and in 2009 of a ceramic teacup. The Monna Lisa was part of one of the first blockbuster exhibitions in New York and Washington, D.C. Allegedly, the painting functioned as a diplomatic means to mitigate the tensions between the USA and France in the early 1960s. Some say that the First Lady Jackie Kennedy herself arranged the loan of the painting to the United States. Later, in 1974, it toured Japan and the Soviet Union. As a result, the Monna Lisa's worldwide fame grew enormously. The Monna Lisa has been reproduced numerously. For example, these early 16th century replicas, the Isleworth Monna Lisa on the left and the Prado Monna Lisa on the right. Other nude versions. Some attribute the left to Leonardo himself and the right Monna Vanna to his student. There exist several examples of the Monna Lisa being reinterpreted. It's been subjected to irony and different styles and materials. She's been depicted smoking a pipe. Duchamp made a parody l.h.h.o.q. The letters pronounced in French resemble the phrase l.h.h.o.q, meaning she has a hot ass, implying she is a promiscuous lady. Salvador Dali portrayed himself as Monna Lisa. The Monna Lisa has been reinterpreted by Basquiat, Botero, Banksy, and Warhol. The Monna Lisa has become a cultural icon, the subject of countless popular songs, as well as movies. The iconic portrait seems to be an inexhaustible source for mass reproduction and merchandising. Besides the endless photocopies, it appears on almost every type of object, from coffee mugs to t-shirts, birthday cards to refrigerator magnets, even on doggy t-shirts and toilet paper. In just a few minutes, you've learned the major facts about the Monna Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. What makes this painting so appealing is its enigmatic and serene character, but also its iconic status. Not only is it made by one of the greatest old masters, even after 500 years, it is an object of international fascination in and outside the art world. Thank you for watching this video by Art History Online. For questions and requests, please comment.